You know the FSG out stuff. At the moment, they're getting the decisions right, innit?
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't
with
go
the
along with that.
contract stuff, that's messy. But the guy that they've appointed, they're appointing,
Yeah,
is doing brilliantly.
yeah.
So that also has to be taken into account. I know fans will be upset about the contract situations, but their appointment
Yeah.
of manager is proving to be genius.
Yeah. And if
So
I'm honest, Rob,
how can you say out?
if I'm honest, Rob, the FSG outers, they don't go to game. They don't go to match. No one's saying that at
I
Anfield.
get it. I get people want to see signings and that, but what if you don't need any?
Exactly. What
What if the guys that you got are good enough to do? At the moment, they're being proven to be right, isn't it? That the guys that we got are good enough. We just needed a new manager to reinvigorate them. So
And listen,
I think
But I think it's tough with protest. Every club has got a gripe with someone. You've been Kroenke out at some point. Well, not you, but Arsenal themselves. We've obviously been Sullivan. But then you get these points where it does start going right, and it makes it more. That's when people start looking at it. What are you moaning about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But every club has got a gripe. Levy out even when they was finishing second in the league and getting to Champions. So
is it too easy sometimes? And I'm not saying. Listen,
of course.
I've been very frustrated with the owners of Arsenal over the years, right? Because of their lack of ambition. But I do think over the last few years they have been showing more ambition, right? But is it too easy sometimes just to? It's like a scapegoat. Oh, the owners.
Of course it is, Rob.
Because
Of
why?
course it is.
Well, the FSG thing? I get it, right? At the start of the season, a lot of Liverpool fans would be like, "Well, where's the signings? Why didn't we get Zubimendi? Why didn't we get this person that?" But actually, at the moment, you have to, as a Liverpool fan, apart from I get the Trent stuff and all that. Apart from putting that aside, you have to say these guys at the moment, they're kind of been right.
Do you know what? I think one of the reasons for
I
the
don't know.
FSG outers to rear their heads once more is because apparently they're going to bid $6 million to buy the Boston Celtics. So that would be the Boston Celtics, the Red Sox, and LFC on their roster. And listen, if that means that Liverpool, with that money that they're going to spend on the Boston Celtics, don't sign someone because of that, then you can have an issue. You know, you bought us first. Let's have a bit of leeway here. And look, don't judge FSG until the end of the season. Let's see what happens with the contracts. Let's see how many trophies we win. Let's see if we win the league. And all these FSG outers, yes, I want signings as well as much as you do. But these FSG outers, they'll forget to mention what FSG have done for the club. You know, we were on the brink of administration in 2010. They saved us, man. They literally saved us. New training ground, extended the stadium, won titles, won every trophy under FSG.
But
so you can be
we was
quick
in
to say FSG out, but I'll tell you this. If you go to the game and you're on the cop, no one's mentioning FSG for the whole 90
But
minutes.
West Ham were in a very similar position to that. 2010, we was on the brink of going bust. We was going bust. The financial collapse had done us. The owners, who were Icelandics at the time, they'd lost a load of money. They couldn't sustain it. We was going under. Sullivan come along, but I look at him now. I've got my gripes. From the outside in, you might not see it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, exactly.
I think it comes down to the intent. You know, what do you intend to do with this club? Why are you at this club? Are you at this club to bring success, or are you at this club to just, coast it and make as much money as you can and sell it? It all depends on what the long-term plan is. I mean, Kroenke must have had a long-term plan when they built the stadium. They did say it's going to be tough for a little while. It overrun that 10 years. So then,
it's overrun a very long time.
But then you start to see, building back up, and then they start to invest more money. So it's very tough. And some people, when they're protesting, nothing will ever change their minds. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're, Chelsea were protesting against someone, and Tottenham are Levy out, and I think he said something recently, leaving, he's upset everyone again. But it's all about where you see yourself in the future. Are you just riding that wave, or do you want to sustain that wave? Do Tottenham want to sustain their challenge, or do they want to take that money and say, right, we've had a good success, now it's time to
Do you
stop
know what?
it?
Could they have spent a bit more money? Yes, 100%. Are they slightly, maybe hold a percentage of the blame for Liverpool not going out and signing players to tip us over that line to get that extra point or two? Yes. And I've been the first one to criticise them with the furlough, with the Super League that they wanted to impose. But look, no owner is perfect. Just go and find me an owner in any country around the world that is perfect, that does everything that the fans want. It doesn't exist.
Sometimes
so be real.
Sometimes
be real with your expectations, people.
It is also the way they treat the match-going fans. I mean, we've had a thing this season, and I think a lot of you have had it, where they've taken away concessions. So you don't get kids' tickets anymore. You have to pay full price for everything. And that leaves a stinging, you know. I know some people that had to give up their tickets.
No, listen, it's not on.
For their children, you know. If I couldn't have had concessions when I was young, I'd have never gone to football.
Exactly.
You know.
And
So
listen, we've protested
the
about the ticket prices. You know,
then
in
the balance on the
2015.
ticket prices and things like that, though, is that we all then still like
That's
every
where you
Arsenal
wanna
fans
sign.
like,
Yeah.
go and
Go
get him.
under
If it's
million.
90 million, get him. So there is a balance, right? I mean,
But gone are the days where you're going to get someone that supports the club that can afford to go, you know, like me. All right, we'll keep the tickets cheap, but I'm going to put £100 million of my money in to go because I said, them days are gone.
Mate,
Long,
those days are
long
well
gone.
over. Those days are well over. So for me, get behind the boys, right? We'll sign who we sign, and they're not perfect.
I think
owners, as we
any
know.
arguments
No one
towards
is.
FSG would be, you know, you have to put those at the end. Unless you have to wait and see what Liverpool do.
That's-
If Liverpool
wait
win the
and see,
league,
wait and see.
will they big FSG up? You know, because
they
it would have
must.
been their decision that did it.
Let's see what happens. Time will tell. Super chat. Bert Yes says absolute hail ups to the gang inside. Who's a member? Big up to him. Ian says go to the Emirates and give this to Arteta for a striker. The super chat he means. Same
Need more
phase
than
of
that.
being one player away from winning the league and not doing enough. Edu out.
Edu's
already
not
gone, mate.
at Arsenal no more. Edu's
He's
at
already
Forest.
gone. Sai says, to be honest, I think Bilbao will win the Europa League, or at least they could. Spurs and Newcastle, hopefully they'll play each other in the Carabao Cup final. Don't forget, the winner of that gets Europe as well. But we've still got a job to do. Don't worry about that. It's not going to be Spurs and Newcastle in the final if we got anything to do about it. Ricky says, Robbie, can you get Nicky on here more often? Perhaps give Abby a celebratory break on days when Spurs win and get the Hawkinator in. Listen, I'm all for having the Hawkinator in as much as possible.
I'm very glad to be here.
Hawkinator's here, man.
Philip says, anyway, thanks for the best YouTube show. Hashtag Arteta the boss. Yeah, that's a good hashtag. Regan says, we have the best squad in the league thanks to FSG. Exactly.
Is that your Regan?
No, that's
just
Tegan, mate. Yeah.
Tegan, Regan.
FSG outers feel the club have let down Klopp, says Shawnee. Nito says FSG hasn't secured our best three players. Do you know what? I was watching an interview with Ben Foster. He did a chat with Robbie Fowler on a golf course for Amazon Prime. And Robbie Fowler said he's got a theory. He thinks that two of them have already signed. And they're under a strict embargo not to release that until maybe Trent gets over the line. But I think there's a little bit of truth in that. I think we could be having all this debate, and they could have already
wouldn't
been
if they
signed.
then said they've signed, be of that feel good, especially in this second part of the season. If they both come out and say we've signed Salah,
it would be such a
especially
big
Salah,
boost.
that's the sort of
massive
thing
boost.
that then
But that can win you a
But
title.
weren't
Yeah.
last year, right? Weren't it about this time that Klopp decided to announce his
almost to
retirement?
the day.
And it went to pot after that. because
I
I
still
just
won a trophy after he
Yeah,
said
you
that.
did,
I just
yeah.
don't
I know
think
what you
it's.
mean. We're on for the quad
if
at
they've
that point.
signed, tell everyone because that would be the big.
it's just relief.
Well, that's
isn't it?
Robbie
Yeah.
Fowler's opinion. That's his opinion. But do you know what? I think it was actually January the 25th or 26th.
Oh,
last
really?
year.
Yeah. So it's
And
really
you remember how sad I was
Yeah.
that day, bro. You were
Yeah, I
trying to
remember.
banter me. I was
He was
like, Robbie,
depressed.
not now, man.
Do you know what?
We went to fight people. He was crying. He would fight people. He was drinking. We found him.
Drinking?
We went round the
Probably
corner.
was.
Right, went round the corner. He was there on the corner like that.
Goodness.
Like drinking like that.
You're a man,
You know,
man, you know.
we had to call it Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually went to the
but
gym and smashed the shit
You
out
did
of the boxing
recover.
bag.
You did recover well.
Won a cup still.
No, I
so
mean
I'd
you
say-
personally.
Oh, me personally.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
You know,
Stop going to the
you know,
meetings
after
now.
rehab, you know what I mean? He came,
Listen,
Naughty man, because there's people out there that will believe that shit.
all due respect, Trent's going to do what Trent does, right? So he's still young enough to go. I think one of the most important things, especially on the form he's in, I think he's the best player in the world at the minute. Get Salah over the line
could
because
be
that
talking
will
about Van Dijk
be. Huh?
You could have been talking about Van Dijk. He's been world class.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
season as well.
I think they both have, but you know, Salah is. I watched the Champions League game the other night. He's unbelievable, an unbelievable footballer.
you know what? I heard a rumour, right?
Where from? Tell us the source before you
I'll
reveal.
tell you after.
Or you
I'll
tell me
tell
after.
you after.
Right,
I
I'll
can't
tell you
my source,
on Cop
right?
TV after
I'll
that.
tell you after. No, but I'm not telling you. Right?
Go on.
The sticking point on Salah is that he's currently on a bonus now. This is what I was told.
Right.
He's currently on a goal bonus of £500,000. Every time he scores a goal, he gets $500,000.
I don't
right?
know if
bonus,
I believe that.
Yeah.
Don't even know if he got that money.
And that, right, and that he wants this written into his new contract as well, and that the owners are refusing. They're saying, no, it's too much.
It's because he's still scoring.
Right? That's what I heard.
Do you know what? It'd be interesting to work out every goal that he does score. How much money do the club earn from that goal?
That's what I've been told, and I'll tell you my source after.
All right. It better not be Heinz again.
Nope.
All right.
It's a good one.
I've heard enough Heinz source quotes off you in the past, and you, to be fair. Right? You've had a howler on there as well, saying David Moyes was sacked. That was definitely.
He did get sacked.
That was HP source.
Yeah, about 2 years after you said it.
But a few months after. But
He didn't say when he was going to get sacked.
exactly.
Did you?
You know what I mean?
That's true.
What, a few months after? It was about a year after.
A year and a half, I think.
Right, I'm sure that'll get clipped up. Regan says, but if two have signed and Trent hasn't, there would be hell. I don't know about hell.